There are many items that have come and gone in Fortnite Battle Royale, and it is safe to say that some are more missed than others. I think that we can all mostly agree that it's beneficial to have some items thrown in the vault when they're worsening the gameplay, which is what happened with weapons like the drum gun. Items are not only vaulted because they make games worse, but maybe they just do not add anything at all, like the smoke grenades. While for the most part Epic Games has only removed items that deserve it, there are of course a select few that I believe didn't earn the Fortnite death penalty. Today we're going to be going over the top 5 items we need back in Fortnite Battle Royale. Before we get into today's video, if you can take a quick second to smash that like button and subscribe for more daily Fortnite content, it would be greatly appreciated. Also, don't be afraid to leave a comment saying which item you would love to see back in Fortnite, or simply just say what's up. Number 5. Coming in at our number 5 spot on today's list, we have the Revolver. The Revolvers were slow fire rate pistols that packed a punch when they landed a shot, but were historically inaccurate and hard to use. They came in common, uncommon, and rare rarities, and generally were just used as a weapon to get you through the beginning of the game. So if these things were hard to use and seem like they aren't very good, you may be asking yourself why we need them back in Fortnite. And the answer to that is because how fun they were. With shots that being as reliable as other guns and requiring the players to actually use some skill, landing revolver shots was the most satisfying thing in the world. It's almost like as soon as you got one person with it, you just couldn't stop popping shot after shot. This is without mentioning that if you got a kill with this, you are now on God status for the rest of that game. I don't really understand why they took these out, as it's not like they were really hurting anybody's experience. They were just a fun gun to use. It especially doesn't make sense to me considering they removed these but decided to keep the hand cannons. Number 4. Floating in at number 4, we have bounce pads. Bounce pads were originally in Fortnite as up and down or side to side directional pads, but were then vaulted. Then Epic added them back as the bounce pads we all know and love, which would throw you a short distance without the risk of fall damage. But then they were removed in Season 6. Why they were removed for the second time is just beyond me, with the only answer Epic gave being about too many other mobility items. I mean, I know there's obviously a good bit of them, but I won't sit here and say that they could do what the bounce pads did. Bounce pads were just a fun way to get somewhere a little faster or get into a cool spot. Not to mention way easier to find than jump pads. These items gave way to some of the coolest trick shots and just plays in general. And again, no one was begging Epic to remove them for ruining their Fortnite experience. So why do it? This seemed like a move that Epic has just made to change the game a little bit or keep the item pool fresh. But it's hard to argue when they added the frost trap as its replacement, which is utter garbage. The frost trap is useful in like 2 situations, and we will never replace what we had in bounce pads. Number 3. Our number 3 spot on today's list is going to be remote explosives, or C4, whatever you want to call it. Remote explosives are another thing that have been tampered with quite a bit since their release. When first added, they didn't really do anything, with low damage and range, and they were like this for quite a while until receiving a massive buff that increased their damage and range, making them extremely overpowered. Epic then nerfed them into nothingness, then proceeded to buff them, but changed their rarity and stock from 4 to 3. Although it took a while, I feel like Epic finally got them right with the last set of changes that they made. And with all that work, it seemed really counterproductive just to yank them out once Season 6 came. They finally did a balanced amount of damage and had a sufficient range. They also were harder to come by, making them harder to spam. So remote explosives were finally in a good state, and that's why we need them back. They were finally able to perform a balanced purpose in the game, but were just tossed into the vault because I assumed that Epic Games was just fed up with them. Plungers attempt to get a similar job done, but in terms of just getting rid of structures, they are far inferior to what C4s were. And it was nice to have something that could delete a good chunk of structure. Maybe that's just me wishing I were better at building, but I feel like it may not be too hard of an opinion to find. It would be great for them to back in the version that they were right before they left, and we can only hope that Epic obliges. Number 2. The number 2 spot on the top 5 items we need in Fortnite is the light machine gun. The light machine guns came in 2 rarities, being the rare and legendary, with both of them boasting up massive ammo clip of 100 rounds of medium ammunition. The LMG was added as a weapon that could melt structures and fire for a long time. But with the drawbacks of inaccuracy and an extremely long reload time, I wholeheartedly do not know why Epic decided to take these out over the minigun. These were actual guns that could feasibly use in your inventory and could actually kill a person if you were close enough, or could land some lucky shots. Unlike the minigun, where it's easier to make a full court shot than kill someone in a 1v1. They weren't even a part of the annoying submachine gun meta. They were just there as something that could consistently melt builds and do a bit of damage. This weapon's removal was most likely just from it not being an SMG and therefore not part of the meta, and therefore not usable, so it needs to be removed, further enforcing the hell that is the submachine gun meta. It was hard to find a more fun time in Fortnite than just running around the battlefield with an LMG, just shredding everything and having a good time. Honorable mention. Every list needs one, and the honorable mention on today's list is the tactical submachine gun. The TAC SMG was removed over the summer when the normal SMG was brought back, and it lost most of its purpose. The tactical SMG was actually a fun gun that did good damage and was okay at killing. It just didn't really make sense to have 4 different types of SMGs at the same time. The tactical submachine gun is just going to get the honorable mention spot, not because it was really bad or unnecessary, but because I wouldn't say it's something that we absolutely needed back into Fortnite. Now, would it be cool to see it come back? Sure, I just know it's not very likely and doesn't make the most sense. Number 1. Did not think that I would see the Zapatron making another return at a number 1 spot, but here it is. As much as I would love to put something else here, you simply cannot make any sort of list about weapons that used to be in Fortnite without the Zapatron reigning superior at the number 1 spot. The Zapatron was an absolute tank during its excruciatingly short time in Battle Royale. This electric sniper was notorious for its high impact and extreme range, with shots taken from seemingly miles away, lining up just perfectly with your crosshairs. Many Fortnite theorists actually believe that putting this gun in was actually just a blunder from Epic Games, and they did not really mean to put it into Battle Royale. One of the weirdest parts about this gun is that the Battle Royale mode had mostly consisted of real-life models of guns, so just throwing in this sci-fi electric sniper out of nowhere just seemed weird, and then to take it out in such a fast period of time. Even with how far Fortnite has come, most of the guns that we have in the game now are realistic enough, so to put this weapon in so early just doesn't sit right, which is almost the exact reasoning Epic said why they took it out. I feel like this weapon would fit substantially better in the game that we have today, and maybe without the whole infinite range thing. But I think that now, especially with some of the weirder items in the game, it's time Epic starts to roll out some different and unique kinds of weapons. I don't think that there would be a bigger crowd pleaser than the return of the Zapatron, and I think it is time that Epic considers bringing this and all the aforementioned items back into Battle Royale. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this list. If you disagreed or have anything to say, just let me know down below. It's always great to see opinions and feedback. Also, don't forget to drop a like down below. Hit subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys.